your beats still feel mid, it's probably not your talent. It's the sounds you use, the first 3 to 10 seconds, and a few habits killing your career. My name is Cam. I have over 1.2 billion plays, went platinum, billboard #1, produced on over 500 songs, and I'm fixing the biggest producer pains in one sitting. Stick to the end for a free analog mini pack in my brand new Analog Crate Volume 2. Every producer says the same thing. All these packs sound the same. Let me prove to you exactly how Analog Crate is different. What's in front of me might look complicated, but it's actually very simple. The first 4 bars are a stock Analog Lab sound for reference. Then after you hear Analog Lab for reference, Analog Crate Volume 2 is here using a one shot. Then I have 2 other presets from Analog Crate. And then this is just the reverse version of this pattern right here. This is before just a normal stock preset, and then watch this when I add Analog Crate. Same exact MIDI. I didn't change anything, bro. This shit's crazy. That shit sounded crazy, right? So how you saw Analog Crate applied here is how I actually like to use it most in my own workflow. I like to come up with a pattern that sounds okay by itself and then replace it with Analog Crate, because it'll take whatever idea you have and just amplify it by like 10 times. The thing about these presets is that they're already imperfect, so if you have imperfections in your playing, it'll only characterize them more and bring them out. Some of those imperfections on stock sounds might sound out of place or weird, but shit, these sounds take them to the next level. You only heard 3 sounds from Analog Crate Volume 2 just now. Imagine what you could get with over 200. I'll leave the link to it in the description. Producers, I know you're tired of paying for a Splice or Arcade subscription just to end up with the same recycled sounds that everybody else is using. But it's tough to find unique sounds that nobody else has. That's why I build melody layers inside Analog Crate. So there's vocals, guitar melodies, and synth takes that you can just drag and drop into your DAW to get pro results fast. Okay, so right now I'm in the phrases folder, and I found this one that sounds really cool. So I'm gonna drag it in. And that's just one of 64 phrases that are in here. We'll go through more and find more that complement this one, but this one sounds cool. Alright, I have these 2 phrases down. Now I'm just gonna pick out a one shot and figure out a pattern that would sound good over this. Honestly, I'm gonna just start with a random one and see what sounds good. This is what instant inspiration looks like, bro. I was bugging right here. Yo, keep in mind what you're hearing is with 0 effects, bro. This is straight out the box. Look, bro, the sounds ain't even in a mixer channel, dog. Listen to it. And these are all one shots, 0 VSTs. Crazy. This other beat is a perfect demonstration of how I used Analog Crate to really level up the sound. So first I'm gonna play the beat just by itself. Not bad, but here's some things I added just to spice it up that much more. So I have this guitar layer, first of all, from Analog Crate. This is what it sounds like.
Camera, you get it.
That guitar fit in perfectly. And then I have a pluck from Analog Crate. Just giving a little more texture behind it. I have a little bit of an arp right here, and then just the phrase. I have an arp that comes in right here too.
Cameron, you get it.
Okay, so if your mix sounds muddy or your patterns are solid but your beats just ain't hitting right, you're probably falling victim to one of these fatal mixing mistakes. This beat's an example of a bad mix. Okay, it sounds terrible, but I actually mixed this beat according to the most common mixing mistakes that I see other producers make. So I'm gonna break it down one by one. First of all, everything's just way too loud. So we're gonna turn everything down. I like to open up an EQ on my master while I'm leveling still, and I'll just drop it down a lot. So it's pretty quiet and I can hear everything very well. Now it's easier to hear where each individual sound is fitting in the mix. One thing I'm hearing already is that the 808 is just way too loud, so I'm gonna bring it down. Remember that if you want to get a clean mix, the 808 shouldn't be super loud, because the most important part is it filling that low end pocket and being loud enough to be felt, but it shouldn't always necessarily be dumping through the mix for it to be clean or for it to hit hard. I think around here it sounds good. Hi-hat is also way too loud, so we're just gonna take this down. I'm gonna bring the snare up. Really push it up in the mix. I like to mix with the metronome because the metronome's a good solid foundation kind of base level. If I put my 808 back to where it was before, right here you can see a huge problem that producers make, which is ducking their melody and trying to turn their 808 up when it's not hitting as hard as they want it to. One thing about mixing is realizing that everything's not going to hit the same through every single different device. So the 808 isn't going to hit the same on your headphones or your MacBook speaker that it's going to hit on a stereo system or like in your car. So people try to get that huge big bass sound by just cranking it up, but it ends up drowning their mix out. So I'm bringing this 808 back down to where it sits well in the mix, bring the melody up. And one thing that's really important for the low end to be able to hit right is to have the right amount of high end accenting it. So these open hats, we need to bring them up a lot. They're way too quiet. That crispiness from the high end, that's where you get that crunch from, is the hi-hats and the open hats. Okay, one of the last things is the low end. There's way too much low end in this melody. So I'm gonna turn this EQ on. You can see how it's cutting everything below around 200 Hertz. Some melodies, I like to cut it at around, 80 to 100. Give it more of that warmth and fullness, but it all just depends on the type of beat it is. So this sounds pretty good overall. One of the last things that I like to do personally to make my mixes sound fuller and to really make sure that I'm filling out every part of the frequency spectrum, I like to open up an EQ on the master and look at where it might need some more boosting. And I'll just fill these parts in right here. You can see right here in this EQ, I boosted the high end. That's something I like to do to add some more crispiness to the beat. I feel like it always makes it sound better. If your melodies feel flat, like the beat loops but never really goes anywhere, that's because you're stacking random layers instead of sticking to a theme. Here's the fix. Start with one strong pattern and then build a call and response around it. Even just 2 bars of variation can make the loop feel alive. One phrase or counter melody every 8 bars, and suddenly your track sounds intentional instead of aimless. Okay, just to prove my theory, I'm gonna stick to only 4 sounds for this entire sample, including the bass. Alright bro, I'm pissed because this was low-key my favorite part of the video, but the footage got fucked up, and this is basically the best of the footage I have. I actually did find some footage that was okay, so I'm gonna show y'all what I do have. My bad if it's choppy or doesn't really make sense. Man, you can hear how cool and crazy this sounds with just 4 sounds, like I said. 4 layers, that's it. Bro, like this beat's already ready to get played. Crazy, bro. Alright, so if we look at what I got in front of me, I started this off with
this. And that's just a chop of a larger section of me messing around with this one shot. This is the key havoc one shot. Then from there, I reversed it and pitched it up 3. That's already a really solid foundation, so next thing I did was add this brass. And I figured right here in the second bar where the chord kind of plays out would be the perfect chance to throw in that response to the call and response effect I was talking about. So I have a lead that comes in right there. Just the bass. Think about it, everybody trying to stand out by using the craziest new drum sounds that nobody's heard before. But it low-key makes standing out a little bit easier because you could just use live drum sounds and set your beats apart from all the crazy digital affected shit that a lot of people are doing on their drums. I feel like there's not enough people that incorporate live drum sounds into their beats, and it's a really easy way to help stand out. And it works. I mean, you could hear it in placements. I got like End Zone by Babytron and No Cap, I'm Her Wizard by Big Boogie, and By Lard by OC Chris. Sometimes the easiest way to be different is just to go back to what everybody else forgot. So here's an example. Alright, so this is what this beat sounds like right now. Just basic trap drums, not bad, sounds really good actually. But what would happen if you swap those drum sounds out for live drums? Well, let's hear it. It's a whole new vibe now. And the best part is that you can incorporate the electronic drums into there. You can hear how stacking the 808s and the electronic hi-hats on top of the live drum sounds just made the switch up like go crazy. So you can fuse them both. You ain't gotta commit to just fully one or the other. Super slept on technique that helps me to stand out and helps me to get my beats chosen a lot. Honestly, probably shouldn't even be telling y'all that, but try it out, it works.